I'm the Commissar. We're watching Forged Alliance Forever. And, more by luck than judgment, because I wasn't very well this weekend and so didn't put out a cast, this cast is a Christmas special. Therefore, we've got a 1v1. We're going to see who's going to be playing for Santa and bringing presents to the children. We're going to see who's going to be playing for Krampus and bringing coal and whipping them with birch rods. So, let's randomise who's who, and then see who wins. Are you naughty, or are you nice? We are going to use this online randomizer, set up to pick between the red corner and the blue corner. Whoever the arrow lands on, that's going to be Santa. And how appropriate, Santa will be playing in the red. Let's go in there and find out whether we've been naughty or nice. We have the red corner at the top right and the blue corner at the bottom left. Starting off for Team Santa Claus, fighting for Christmas and presents and all the happy children, we have BobMissili, who is 1468 rated, and he's playing Cybran. And in this cold, unforgiving blue corner, fighting for Krampus with sacks of coal and lashings of birch twigs, this is Explosive, who is 1615 rated, and he's playing as the UEF. Now, this map has a scattering of reclaim all around. You can see here and here a few bigger clutches, quite a lot up here as well. But it's pretty evenly scattered, and I think all of these are just these icy rocks which are available to reclaim. Now, the very first thing I noticed is that Explosive has sent out just one engineer, and then he's got 3 labs coming out after it. Whereas Bob is being a little greedier, and he's sending out only engineers. Only a land factory so far from Explosive. He's following it with a hydro, as you'd expect, but no clue as to where he's going next. Oh, yes, there is, just as I say that. He queues up an air factory. Bob, though, he's planning land all day. Look at that, he's got 4 land factories queued up, and this air factory won't even be started until the hydro's finished. So, definitely more land presence out from Bob. And where are those labs going? We've got 2 going off to the... Oops, zooming in and out a bit there. 2 going off to the left and 1 going to the right. I don't like this position because that was probably where the commander's going to go and he'll just get shot. But this one is nice, going for any engineer who might be going there. And indeed, Bob does have an engineer going there. Where's this one heading? Oh, he's going to the back. That's also going to be somewhere which Bob will likely try and pick up early. So those 2, I like the positions. Explosive, first into the water by a long way. He's starting work here on a naval yard. So he's gone land, air, navy in that order. And only now is he thinking about a bit more land. Whereas Bob is still going land all day. He's got 2 land factories up and a 3rd under construction. He's nowhere near finishing his air factory. As we predicted, this lab has stopped here, but that commander is walking out this way, so that lab is likely just to get shot. Very unfortunate fate for that early scout. This lab might still catch the NG expanding out here, and this lab might catch this NG, so even though this one has suffered an early demise, I think the others might pay for themselves, and as if that weren't enough, the aggression continues from Explosive, who sent out a bomber. Is it going for that NG there? If it is, it doesn't see it. He's got it on an attack move, but now he might have seen that NG. Not sure where he's going with that. But up here, the lab has caught the engineer and blows it up and now can destroy this mech without a problem. On this side, the lab hasn't seen that engineer yet, so that's safe. However, the bomber has taken out the engie here. The aggression is paying off a little bit for explosive, and indeed, look at the eco. He's 9 eco ahead, and it's only going to improve, but explosive's lead if he can take out this. Okay, he hasn't taken this out. He's just run away. Did he not see it? He needs to come back and catch the engineer if he gets a moment. And the bomber misses its second. It's got 2 kills, but it misses its third, and Bob is able to catch it with an interceptor. And Bob is still going land all day. Look at this. At this expansion, he's got 3 land factories queued up with his comm. Meanwhile, the naval yard for explosive has finished and is producing frigates. At last, this lab has positioned itself somewhere sensible at this mechs, and sure, this engine's going to get a lot of work done first, but I think the lab will get it in the end. On this side, we have a raid coming out from Bob towards explosive. Unfortunately for Bob, explosive's comm is here, and it's just going to be able to pick these mantis up before they do much damage. They kill 1 mechs, but with the comm right here to rebuild it, I don't think that's going to be a problem. And indeed it isn't. The mantis backs away. First frigate out for Bob, for explosive, as is another bomber. Will he get any more work done with these? And 2 mantis try to sneak, one of them from this raid and a new one, trying to sneak around the back. There's 1 tank waiting here, but Bob might pick up some damage. The bomber flies in towards Bob's base, but Bob's interceptors are ready and waiting. It does some damage to a T1 mech, but I don't think it's going to get another pass. I think those... Okay, maybe those interceptors are not going to catch it. Not that it matters, because the frigate's just rolled up and can also shoot it. And no more damage by that bomber before the inties kill it off. Bob's trying to sneak one of those mantis around the back. This one has been taken out here by that tank. Unfortunately for Bob, there's more strikers waiting here for it with a scout for radar coverage. They see it. That's bad, they'll lose the scout, but they do catch and kill the mantis. Over here, these 2 tanks have had a little more success. They've managed to stop an engie from expanding out here. So that's nice, but they're not taking out these mechs as yet, and I don't think they're going to get the chance if any more of these tanks from explosive roll in. Bob's trying to get into the water. He's got this torpedo launcher under construction, because he knows he's not first into the water by a long way, but it's already been seen by explosive's frigate, and the frigate looks like it might just deny this. And the other frigate of explosives has been ordered in to assist. Down in the bottom right, we have a jester coming in to raid, and there's no anti-air here yet for explosive. He does have 3 inties over here, but he'll have to notice the jester and react to it. And it's been tasked to destroy this mechs. One mech's down. And I think it's going to get a second. Yes, it is, but in come those interceptors, and the 3 of them are able to take out the jester in one pass. So I don't know if that's going to pay for itself for Bob, especially with this engineer from explosive ready to just come straight in. Over here, Bob has been driven out of the water by the 2 frigates, which have denied his attempt to build a naval yard. Little skirmish on this side of a few tanks from each side, but it's going to be swayed in Bob's favour by his comm, who should be then in position to build up on this expansion here. and in a reversal of the positions earlier, Bob definitely has more map control, and we need to look over here where he's attacking, but there are turrets up for explosive, the comms here. I don't think he's going to get any traction against this base, especially not with its 3 factories worth of production, but wisely he's not trying to get traction against this base, he's just going for a run-by. And he's managed to slip a few of his units past Explosive's front line. On the other side, Bob's comm is pushing, and there's enough here to stop a couple of tanks, but there isn't enough here to stop a comm, not by a long shot. And so Bob is able to charge freely forward and do yet more damage to Explosive's eco. That said, Explosive has been teching up, unless Bob is power stored, which he's not, and Explosive has got the eco lead. And Bob is able to crush all this. Over here, the run-by is heading back towards this expansion, but there's already a point defense up in this expansion. There are tanks around here to guard. I don't know if they'll get much done. Here on the left, we have a drop coming in for Bob. Here on the right, we have had a mechs picked up by this run-by, but Explosive troops coming in, but the drop goes down. It's shot down by 2 of Explosive's interceptors. However, the troubles for Explosive are not over, as Bob's comm is out here and on the move. However, these point defences on the cliff will help hold it off. Up here, 1 mech's down, but this army is going to be taken out, and it's got nowhere really to run. More of Bob's units. These are only NGs, it might actually get some kills. Nope, it's getting stopped, and it's going to be run down. Meanwhile, over on this side, Explosive has got quite a good little sneak past and has put these tanks in position here, but they're not quite in position to take out this NG, though they might deny these mexes. However, I think they've been seen, and I think it's too little too late, as Bob's comm is on his way, and so is a bit of an army. Good use of the frigates here, just picking off units as they come past, picking up engineers, with no actual navy on the field. These can just play around. In fact, Bob doesn't have any tech at all. He's just deleted a lot of his factories for reclaim, and he must be on his way to T2 somewhere, but where? There, he's got it queued up there. However, Explosive is on his way to T2 with the navy, and UEF missile cruisers could prove devastating over here. And finally, Bob notices Explosive's tanks here, picks them off, also sends a raid round to get this. This, however, is where I want to look, because look at this army. This is a big army coming in from Bob. The Elves of Santa are on the move, and Explosive might be under threat. I don't know if there's enough to take out the comm there, but the comm's on this side, and with a bit of good micro, they might do some damage. However, the comm comes forward. We'll have to see how this plays out. Huh. Mind games there. Do you think I already lost? No. I don't think Bob's lost just yet. In fact, I don't know if Bob's lost at all. We're going to find out. In fact, look at his eco lead. Bob is actually 30 eco ahead, which is quite significant. His army pushes in, and Explosive could be swarmed if he's not careful. But Bob isn't attacking. And we're going to see our first comm upgrade now. Look at that nice assistance from the Mantis, who of course have 1/5 of an engineer worth of build power available to assist in repair. And Bob is going for a gun. Explosive hasn't got any upgrades yet, so this is the first comm upgrade we've seen, and unsurprisingly it's an aggressive one given how far forward Bob's comm is. However, Explosive has T2, and look at these, you've got some pillars sneaking in. The gunship is trying to defend, but it's only attacked one gunship, a Jester. And these pillars can do some damage. They've taken out one mech, they've taken out two mexes. If they're not careful, these point defences might be a problem, and that one is going to go up before they get through. Okay, the Jester takes one out. Nice. I don't think that pillar's going to get a great deal done, because it's got this point defense to worry about. And it just drives straight into the point defense. Might kill a couple of NGs. Does kill a couple of NGs, but down it goes, and the NGs can reclaim that tasty wreck if they want to. Meanwhile, Explosive is pushing Bob's comm with a decent horde of pillars, and at the same time he's got a bunch of units sneaking past to the side. This could be a threat. Bob does have the gun, which he's finished, and so this slot shouldn't be a threat to him, but this might do some damage if it just runs straight past. And Bob retreats to try and fight this off. He might be caught in a bit of a sandwich, because there are a decent number of pillars in here though, and a further swarm of Tech 2 is coming in from Explosive. How's Bob going to handle this? Bob has brought some T2 of his own in that last. He's got some rhinos. He's got this point defense to help out. And he is again bringing in air support. However, it looks like Bob's going to hold easily, and he's probably not even going to be taken out of the green. These units have gone a bit further, and they've got one mech that was rebuilt, but I don't think two T1 tanks are going to get any further damage than that. Explosive again swarms down upon Bob with his T2 units. There's still a point defense up though, and there's still the gun upgrade on Bob's comm, and he is into the yellow now, to be fair. But he's getting veterancy, he's getting regen, and I don't think what's left of Explosive's army is going to be much of a problem for him. You know what is going to be a problem for Bob, though? It's this. A cruiser. The first cruiser is at Bob's base, and Explosive can just pummel this base with basically nothing to answer it. These mexes are going to be within range and could easily be taken out by a few cruiser missiles. And there's no T2 build power here as yet, although this engineer is coming forward. Yes, look, he's got a big line of TMD planned here. But will it be in time? The Hydro goes down. And a few more forces here have trickled in from Explosive, but Bob has held them back with no trouble, and he's setting up build power here to continue reinforcing his units. On this side, we've still got two large armies. A slight advance of artillery here from Explosive, but Bob quickly sees it off. Neither side ultra keen to engage at this moment though, as a second cruiser rolls in from Explosive. The first TMD is up and the second follows. However, as we spoke about recently, the UEF cruisers are better at piercing TMD than Seven missile cruisers, and so it might take more than 2 or 3 TMDs to hold off multiple UEF cruisers, and I'm sure that more will be coming out as we speak. Indeed they are. Look at that, there's the third one just rolling off the production line now. And this expansion is all going to go down. 2 mexes and all this production, 3 of which are T2, could be taken out, which would be a very nice pickup for Explosive if he could manage it. And 3 mexes down. This is going to be 2 factories down in short order. This is going to be painful for Bob, but Bob does still have the eco lead. I've mentioned in a previous cast of Bob's that he's always very good at managing his eco, and we can see he's got a lot of T2 mexes scattered about the place, whereas there are far fewer for Explosive. Big fight coming down on the right at last as Bob pushes in, and I don't think Explosive's got quite enough to hold this back. The small core of T2 is all that really remains, and Bob's still got this whole swarm, and Explosive might be in a little bit of trouble on this side. And as if that weren't enough, Bob now has stealth also on his comm, and he's building nano. So Bob is absolutely tricked out and ready to smash his way into the fray. Gun, stealth, nano, 2 vets, he is absolutely ready for it. Whereas on this side, explosive is rather less ready for it. And Bob is swarming his army down. Now Bob looks like he doesn't want to just hit this expansion head on. I think he's considering sneaking around the back and trying to do some damage down here. There is some point defense here, just as there is here, but there's no production down here really to stop it. And explosive has ideas to see about that. He's got some T2 point defense queued up down here to prevent these units pushing in. And Bob again repositions, but he's not taking the attack yet. He's not actually charging in, and that could be a bit of a mistake. I think he needs to push while he's still got the advantage in terms of numbers. He certainly thinks it's time to push on this side, and with the upgrades to his comm, I don't blame him. However, there is Tech 2 point defense on this cliff face, and more is going up. And what's this I see? Is this a drop of bricks? Yes, it is. Bob has got himself up to T3 and he's putting bricks down here in the back of Explosive's base. Those are 3 T2 mexes there. They're uncapped, but it's still going to be quite a loss for Explosive, who really can't afford it. Bob, meanwhile, charges forward and he's setting up more production to help out. He's got to be a little worried about the fact that there are 2 triads up here already, and there's shortly going to be a 3rd. And this is actually a decent sized army coming in from Explosive. With lots of T2, a couple of flak in there just in case Bob tries any jester shenanigans. And Bob is taking hits. He's down below half health and still falling, and that's an awful lot of T2 he's got to work through. He's into the red. 2,000 hit points. 1,800, 1,700. He is shedding health, but he gets a crucial rank of veterancy, and that might be enough, as he also brings in loyalists. He's brought loyalists in, and he's going to survive, though that was a close shave. How are those bricks doing? Well, one of them at least. One of them's come here to shoot up some of these things here, and another is just in the back of Explosive's base. And Explosive is trying to mass pillars to stop it, but that brick should be able to handle those pillars easy peasy, and it's taking out his mexes. And look at the eco. Bob now has twice Explosive's eco. That is brutal, and it's only going to get worse as more of the T2 PDs are taken out. Explosive finishes T3 land, and he immediately starts work on Percy's, but where's his eco? He's a factor of 4 or 5 behind Bob. He can't afford those Percy's, and this brick is just carving up the pillars. Eventually the stream of pillars will work through, but at what cost? However, Bob has an advantage here on the water, and he's trying to use it. He's brought in hordes of engineers to take on the landing where his cruisers have cleared up a bunch of stuff, but these tactical missile defences have held, and the cruisers haven't really cleared out a decent amount of eco here. They have taken out this expansion, which is nice, but they need to do more. And the brick retreats. It's going to kill that pillar, and it's going to survive and regenerate. Now it's got a full 5 veterancy as a whole army comes swarming in from Bob. And the situation is looking pretty bleak for Explosive, who has hidden under the water, the only place that's safe for him now, as this army comes swarming towards his base. And as if that weren't enough, there are also bricks on this side pushing in. There are, of course, T2 point defences here, and there's some army, but 4 bricks should probably be enough to take that out, and there's more where that came from. the bricks advance. But these bricks and loyalists are getting... Actually, I say bricks, there's only 2 bricks in there. They're getting into the main base of explosive. He's got a single Percy, just 1 Percy. And his HQ is being focused. If that goes down, this could be it for explosive. He's still got T2 air production and he's trying to make gunships. But look at his eco. He's got just 18 mass petit coming in. That's nothing. He can't possibly afford this with Bob producing 5 times the eco. Down goes the land HQ. The Percy is soon to follow, and I don't know if it's going to take out either. It takes out 1 of the bricks. But down goes the Percy. There's still a brick here. And things are not looking good for explosive. He's got a single gunship heading up here, and of course the cruisers are continuing their bombardment. But the pressure is relentless, and this looks like another brick drop. However, is it going to fly too close to the cruiser? I think it is. Boom! 2 bricks come smashing out of the air, leaving a big heap of reclaim. As the transport is taken out by a cruiser, and explosive advances with his comm through the water in a last-ditch attempt to do something. I don't know what. These bricks have advanced, or the Tech 2 point defense is going to go down. 1 brick has been lost, and that's it. Okay, make that 2. Even so, all the T2 point defense is down, and there's nothing here to stop the bricks. And explosive just being shredded. He has got a bank of tactical missiles here. What does that range? Well, actually, to be fair, it ranges quite a lot. But it doesn't range the comm, who's all the way back here. 1 lone gunship comes in, trying to get a snipe. However, this is a comm with nano and 3 vets. A second gunship comes in, but I feel that this comm can just eat that damage and not worry about it, and indeed it is. And here come a bunch of interceptors from Bob, and they take it out. What can explosive possibly do in this situation as Santa marches across the map, bringing good cheer and festivity and presents to all? More tactical missiles is apparently the answer. Even though we know there's this big bank of TMD here, explosive's idea, with his now down to just 14 eco and Bob 9 times ahead, is thinking that tactical missiles are the answer. I'm not sure if I agree with that, because tactical missiles are expensive. However, there's not much anti-air around here, and the gunship is taking out the tactical missile banks, backed up by the cruisers, of which there are now enough to overwhelm them. So these tactical missiles could start hitting Bob's eco. However, back come the interceptors, and that gunship is not long for this world. The cruisers are going to have to be the ones which do the damage. Could there be tactical missiles aiming in for this HQ? That could be a big pickup if explosive gets it, but I still feel like he's not in a position to really do anything with it. Bob owns all of the land. Explosive owns this little coast and the sea, and that's it. He stopped production at the naval yard because he was trying to put everything into these tactical missiles, and they are loaded. What's he going to target with them? The HQ would be a good bet. This power generator might also be a good bet. And Bob's army over here moves in towards the main base. It's coming round this way, but all of this is T1, and I don't see what it can possibly do to stop it. We've got more T3 production here, and bricks are just swarming forward. Are the tactical missiles planning anything? Explosive now has 4 of them, and they're all loaded. Is he going for any more? And he fires. What's he targeting? He's targeting the comm. If he gets this, this would be the most undeserved win ever. He's 10-1 eco down. Boom. My dudes. It worked. Boom. Explosive wins the game. Santa has been defeated. And Krampus is going to be out there delivering sacks of coal and floggings with birch sticks to all you children. You guys have been naughty and not nice. Christmas is cancelled. Well, now you know that the way to kill Santa Claus is to hit him with a bunch of tactical missiles. And Krampus will be lashing the children, wailing and gnashing of teeth everywhere. I hope you're happy. Tell me about your silliest Christmas shenanigans in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe and obey. I'm the Commissar, and I will see you next time.